Hello and welcome to the Rum Revival. My name's Arminder and today is a big one. Literally, as I'm covering this sucker right here. This is the newest 8 Marks collection set from Hampden Estate out in Jamaica. Now just a heads up, this video is going to be my overall thoughts and review of the set, but I won't be tasting through the 8 rums. Now I'm going to save that for an upcoming live stream that I'm going to attempt to do with the one and only Robin Smith from the This Blog's Neat YouTube channel, as well as the Rum et al. Brand. Now, Robin is a chemical engineer, so I can't think of anyone better suited to get into the weeds with these 8 marks. Keep an eye out for more details on the day and time. Now, getting back to this video and this set, last year Hampden had released the first version of this set here in black. Now, what's the difference between these two sets and just what the hell is a mark? So the 8 rums in these sets are marks, or the 8 unique distillates that Hampden Estate produces from fermentation all the way through distillation. And each mark is a specific rum that tastes a specific way because it's made by following a very specific production process. Now, they're not blended rums, but instead they're the components that Hampden might use to form the basis of a blend. In addition to that, Hampden has a couple of releases like Rum Fire, HLCF Classic, and their 8-year that are single mark releases. So what's the difference between these two sets? Well, the black one here from last year features all 8 of the marks. They are all unaged and bottled at 60% ABV. And the new red set features the same set of 8 marks, but now they've been aged 1 year in ex-bourbon casks and bottled at 52% ABV. But that's not all. See, the first set came with this double-sided sheet here that dives into the unique fermentation processes for each of the 8 marks. It goes into detail on how long the alcoholic and bacterial fermentations last for each of the marks, as well as the ingredients used in their fermentations. And it really goes into esters, which are organic compounds created during fermentation that contribute to a rum's flavor profile. And this sheet has graphs that show for each of the marks what esters are present and in what relative proportions. So that's what the first set was really all about. It focused on fermentation and the esters created during that process and how all of that can change the flavor and aroma of each mark. Now, the idea behind this new set is all about the effect of 1 year of aging on those 8 marks. So now the sheet in this set is actually double the size, 4 pages, and it is a pretty deep dive into the chemistry of aging in wood and how it affects the final rum. It covers things like wood porousness, toasting and charring, the role of oxygen in aging, tropical versus continental aging. Now, where the first one dived into esters, this one dives into the molecules that are extracted from the wood by the rum during aging. Now, these molecules are split between being non-volatile and volatile. Volatile molecules tend to evaporate at room temperature, so they're usually perceived primarily just through aroma, while the non-volatile molecules tend to not evaporate, so they stick around in the liquid and you can smell and taste them. And all of these molecules contribute different notes. Some might bring notes of peanut butter and roasted hazelnut and caramel. Others might bring a earthy, herbaceous, light coconut note, while others might smell like or taste like wet wood. So for each of the marks in this set, this sheet has graphs that show you the various volatile and non-volatile molecules that are present and in what relative proportions. So that's what this new set is in a nutshell. And look, I spent a good amount of time with this and I have some thoughts I'd like to share. So from start to finish, the Unaged set is maybe more of a fuller, more complete educational experience. It's self-contained because, there's no aging, so you're really just focusing on one variable here, and that's fermentation. So between the marks, the differences in flavor and aroma can be chalked up to those differences during the fermentation process. Now, in comparison, as a standalone product, the aged set feels slightly like an incomplete experience. I just think that the comparisons between these marks become muddied because now you have the variable of fermentation and also the variable of aging. And while yes, they are all aged in ex-bourbon casks for a year, each cask is its own unique ecosystem and might have certain more types of volatile components versus other non-volatile molecules compared to like a different cask. So they'll potentially impart different flavors and aromas. So when you are noticing differences between the marks, is it coming from the different fermentation process or from the aging? Well, really, it's coming from both. And though this sheet does say that this set is all about showing the effects of aging on the 8 marks, I question how this actually does that, because if all you had was this box alone, then you have like no reference to what these marks tasted like before they were aged. So there's no real like A to compare to the B of these rums, I think to get the concept of the effects of aging across in just one set, I would have rather have seen something where we take like a single mark like HLCF and showcase a number of different versions of it. Unaged, aged a year in American oak, aged a year in French oak, aged in ex-bourbon casks entirely in Jamaica, and then aged entirely in ex-bourbon casks in Europe. Something like that, you know? I think keeping the base distillate the same would really allow you to focus on the way the aging affects the mark. Or at least I think it would be clearer than what this set does. Now, given that they didn't do that, you kind of have to recreate that yourself, which means to really maximize the educational and sensory experience with this set, you kind of need to have the other one as well. That way you can compare the unaged mark to its aged counterpart. And it's only by doing that that you'll be able to isolate the variable of aging and see what spending a year in a barrel does to that mark. And look, that's probably the whole point of this secondary set, for it to be like a add-on to the first one. And Hampden, I guess, could have put out a set with 16 bottles in it, but that would have been one very pricey set. Although I guess they could have released smaller bottles, but I feel like 200 milliliter bottles is perfect for tastings like this. Now, of course, having to buy two sets is a more expensive proposition, so it's not going to be an option for everyone. Now, if you can, try to get a friend or two and split the cost of the sets between all of y'all, and drink all of these rums, maybe 2 or 3 marks at a time. Now, if you're looking for a cheaper alternative to get the most out of just this one set, then I recommend downloading the sheet that came with the unaged set from the Lamasan and Velier website. I'll post a link in the description down below where you can download it, since so much of the difference between these aged marks is going to be because of the differences in fermentation. That unaged sheet will be incredibly useful in contextualizing what you're drinking. And the aged sheet is still very useful and very informative about the overall aging process. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do a before and after kind of comparison with this cheaper option, but I think you'll get a lot more out of this set by downloading that sheet. Now, of course, if you happen to have a bottle of Rumfire handy or are willing to spend the $30 to get one, like I kind of need to do since this one's empty, you can at least see how HLCF tastes unaged here with the Rumfire and then compare it to the aged version in this set. Now, if you can afford it, trying these two sets together is such an amazing experience. I won't go into too much detail, I'll save that for the live stream, but these marks absolutely do change even with 1 year of aging. There are certain flavors and aromas here in the unaged marks that get enhanced with that 1 year of aging. There's other notes that kind of get downplayed. And then of course there's other flavors and aromas that get added to the mix thanks to that wood aging. And I think if you're patient and give each mark the right amount of time and not rush through it, it's a pretty rewarding experience and you will get a better understanding of what wood aging brings to the table. Now, if I had to recommend only one set, I'd say it's really about what you're looking for out of these sets. Now, if you're looking for a more complete and clean educational sensory experience, then the unaged set is the way to go. That being said, there is a case to be made for the aged set. If you're looking for the set that's probably a bit more drinkable, then you might want to go with this one. That 1 year of aging just makes the marks more palatable. It rounds out the edges, and of course, you know, these are lower in proof on top of that. I think a lot of people are much more likely to drink through most, if not all of the bottles in this set. Like, I don't know if that's necessarily the case with the unaged set. And look, I love drinking unaged, higher proof rums, but I fully admit that's not for everyone. Now, even though I had some callouts regarding this set, I do want to give kudos for Hampden for putting out this set, as well as the unaged one. No one else in the rum world is doing stuff like this, and it's such a great tool to experience, learn, and appreciate rum on a whole nother level. And I would love for each and every distillery to do something like this with their marks. Aged, unaged, all of it. Just give me everything. All right, so there you go. That is my video on the Hampden 8 Marks collection. And I'm super, super curious. Where do you land on this? Do you think you need to have both of these to truly kind of experience what they're trying to go for? Or are you okay just with the aged set? Or do you think if you had to pick one, you would go with the unaged set? Let me know by leaving a comment down below. And keep an eye out for more information on the hopefully upcoming live stream where I taste the unaged and aged marks together with Robin from This Blog's Neat. It should be a pretty fun time. And if you're interested in checking out some exclusive behind-the-scenes content and first impressions videos where I try a rum for the very first time and give you my gut reaction to them, then consider checking out and supporting me on Patreon. I have tons of content there that I think you'll really like. Thanks so much for watching. Catch y'all next time. Cheers.